Welcome back, guys. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to find free, highly motivated seller leads. And we're going to use two websites that's going to get you all the information that you need to go out and start talking to homeowners and getting things under contract. Okay? So the first one, it's simple, Zillow.com. So we're going to go up here to Zillow. We're going to click this buy tab. And then we're going to type in our city, our county. I typically will start with county. So Jackson County, Missouri is my county. It's the county that I live in. And what we want to do is go to for sale. We want to go to home type. You can keep all of these on there. If you don't want to look at land, if you don't want to look at townhouses for whatever reason, just deselect those. If you don't look at manufactured home, that's fine. And then just click apply. And when you go to the more tab, right here where it says show more, you don't want the agent listed ones. Those are tough to deal with. Dealing with people who already have an agent, yeah, it can be worthwhile, but I'm going to show you another way to do this where you don't have to go through agents. So we're going to go to foreclosures, auctions, and pre-foreclosures. Foreclosed means the banks own them, but what we're focused on here is properties that are in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure, the proceedings have already started, but that the homeowner still owns, that haven't sold to the bank, that haven't sold at auction. We want the properties that are still owned by the homeowner so we can go reach out to them, get it under contract to either purchase, wholesale, hold as a rental, do any sort of creative financing with them, whatever it may be. We want to get to these homeowners before the sale. And then once we get to them, there's a litany of things that we can do, right? So we want to click not by agent, but by owner, and then click apply. And what you'll see is all of these properties that are in foreclosure. And if you just click on one of them, like this one, for example, this thing was posted 2 hours ago on auction.com. So this is somebody who's highly motivated to sell. They need to do something with their house. And a lot of the times, the best option for homeowners in foreclosure is to sell the house, move on, capture their equity if they have any, and find a new place to go. So there's a couple things to look at here. First and foremost, we obviously have the address, and it'd be good to know the homeowner's name, which I'll show you in a second how to find. But we also have the auction details over here. So we want to make sure that we have enough time to do something. So we want to click on the auction details and make sure that the foreclosure sale isn't tomorrow, because if it is, it's going to be tough to do. Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Today is January 22nd, 2025. So we've got plenty of time to go and reach out to this homeowner. If you want the best results, which most of you do, I would suggest knocking on the door if you're in an area that's safe to go and do that. Okay? That's how we get most of our deals, is by knocking on doors, talking to homeowners in person. It's way more personable than a random text message, a random letter that gets sent to their house, whatever other marketing they're getting, a random phone call. Those can still be effective, but it's very much more difficult to tell somebody to get lost when they're standing at your front door. It's super easy to hang up a phone or not respond to a text message or crumble up a letter. Okay? So what do we do now? Well, if I'm going to go knock on this door, it'd be nice to know the homeowner's name. So if I copy this address here and go to another one of my favorite sites, True People Search, truepeoplesearch.com. This is free. I can click on address, and I can go and drop the address into there and hit search. And what we're looking for is one of these down here, one of these results that pops up that shows the current address as the property that we're looking at. So for example, Matthew D. Miller is the first result that popped up, but it shows that his current address is 3611 Roland Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. This is in a completely different county. He may at one point have lived in Raytown. Looks like he lived there at one point. It was one of his previous addresses, but doesn't look like he lives there now based on this data. Okay. So if if we go back and then just go down to the next result, Chris A. Doty, his current address is 6505 Harris Avenue, Raytown, which is the exact address of this house. Ads will show up on True People Search. So then if we scroll down, not only can we knock on his door, we can call him. Last reported December of 2024. That was last month. This one was last reported November of 2011, January 2021, December 1999. You can see that these two are landlines, these two are wireless. So if it's in a rough area of town and you don't want to knock on the door or too far away from you, give him a phone call. And if this doesn't end up being his number and you try all of these other numbers and he doesn't answer, you can go down here and find relatives, possible relatives right here. And then you even have possible associates. So there's a litany of information here to be able to track this person down. And this is a lot like a puzzle, guys. It's not something that you search the first result, you click on the first result, you make the first phone call, you get somebody on the phone, they say, yeah, I want to sell my house. Rarely, if ever, is that the case. You have to put the puzzle together. And for me, that's the fun part. So if I'm going to, let's say, knock on Chris's door, right? What I'm going to say is I'm going to knock on his door. I'm going to take a step back off his front porch just a little bit so it doesn't look like I'm right in his face when he answers the door. Let's say he answers the door. He answers and goes, who are you? Are you Chris? Yeah, I'm Chris. Hey, Chris, I'm just Ben. I know this is super out of the blue, man. I noticed, though, that your lender had scheduled a sale. Hopefully you've got that handled. But if you don't, I may be able to help. And then open it up for Chris to talk, right? And that's the same thing that we do if we call him. So let's say we call this number and somebody answers. We go, hey, is this Chris? Hey, Chris, this is just Ben. Man, I know this is out of the blue, but I saw that your lender had scheduled a sale. Man, hopefully you've got that handled, but if you don't, do you need any help? And then just let them talk. Again, guys, this entire business is all about building rapport, letting people talk about them, their life, what they're going through, their situation, and then listening and trying to provide solutions. In the beginning, we're not trying to buy their house. We're trying to understand the picture as a whole so that we can eventually be able to provide the solution, whether it's purchasing their house, whether it's helping them find a buyer as a wholesale, whatever that may be. A lot of these people really do need to sell their house at the end of the day, and tracking them down and providing value, as much value as we possibly can, whether that's just listening to their story or actually helping them on down the line sell the property. We are providing value to people. Okay. So the way that I look at this is when I first got started, I did all this on my own. Okay. Addresses. I put them into I found the phone numbers. I called them. And if they didn't answer, I would track them down, maybe call these other numbers. If those didn't answer, I would call the relatives and say, hey, I'm looking for Chris. Do you happen to know Chris, Heather? Get information from them. If Heather doesn't know, call Megan. These are probably his parents, Meredith and Stan. But I did all of this on my own from my cell phone. So it's completely doable. You don't have to have all this fancy technology. You don't have to have a crazy built-out CRM. You can do all of this on your own with a cell phone and a Google spreadsheet, right? Then if you have a car and it's in a good part of town that you're not afraid to knock on a door, go knock on somebody's door. Obviously, stay safe. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. Stay safe, but getting in front of people, we are not a burden. Most of the time, these people want help and they need help and they don't know what to do. So regardless of if we purchase the house to flip it, if we tell them we'll help them find a buyer and we wholesale the house, if we do some sort of creative financing, whatever it may be, we're there to help. And when we get in front of them, we can provide that assistance. We can provide that help. But it all starts with knowing where to find leads, then tracking people down with the information that we're provided, getting in contact with them, presenting ourselves as, not in their face about the whole situation, and then providing solutions that work for them. So this is how you find motivated seller leads. You go to Zillow. You go to for sale properties. You go to more. You click on foreclosures, auctions, pre-foreclosures. You select this buy owner tab. You click apply, and then you have all of these properties that are pre the foreclosure date, still owned by the homeowner, that we can reach out to and potentially buy the house or wholesale the house or do whatever you want to do with the house. These are gold leads. And what most investors do is, let's say that they pulled the same list of leads, right? What most investors do is they'll take that list of leads, give it to a data provider and say, hey, I want you to find all of the homeowners' names and their phone numbers, maybe their email addresses. And they'll spit it into this, they'll put it into this system that spits out all that information. The problem is a lot of that data is not updated and a lot of that data is not great. So then let's say these investors go and start making phone calls. If they get a dead number, most investors will go to the next lead on the list and call that lead, completely forgetting about the previous lead that didn't have a good phone number. They just move on. So when you dig and you go and maybe call multiple phone numbers or reach out to a relative or go knock on the door or reach out to a possible associate and put the pieces together of the puzzle, that's when you find the gold. You have to dig to find it though. This is when I became super successful in this business, was when I went past that initial layer of, okay, these couple phone numbers didn't work. I'm going to go to the next lead. No, I stuck with that lead. I spent more time with that particular lead, and I put the pieces of the puzzle together until I finally either found them and they said, no, I haven't handled, or I found them and they said, yeah, I haven't had anybody reach out to me. Most of the time, those people that say I haven't had anybody reach out to me is because every other investor has the bad information or a dead phone number, or they didn't go and dig, and we're getting to these people that need help. And we now are in the driver's seat to get that deal. Okay? So this business is not something that's super easy. It does take a little bit of grit, a little bit of determination, and a little bit of stick-with-itness to go and track people down, find these leads, get these deals. But if you can do that, you're going to set yourself up to be successful in this business. Don't be like those other investors that go one layer deep. Go and dig until you get an answer. Again, this is the fun part for me. I love this part of this business where I can go and dive in and figure out all of the things that are working together, all the people that are involved in the deal, and put it all into one so that I can get that deal closed. Okay? So you've got the free leads now. You've got the ways to reach out to these people and contact them. You have everything you need to go and get deals. The next step is you just got to take action. That's it for this video. But guys, we're going to continue to pump this channel full of content that is actionable that you can go and do today, just like this video. So get out there, find your leads through Zillow, start reaching out to homeowners and get deals under contract, get them closed, and make a bunch of money.